These prisons are on another level. I'm your host Yusuf, and these are 10 scary prisons in America that should close down. Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Anyways, let's shut it down. Number 10, ADX Florence, Colorado. Known as the Alcatraz of the Rockies, ADX Florence is considered the most secure federal prison in the country, housing some of the most dangerous and high-profile criminals. The United States Penitentiary Administrative Maximum Facility, USP Florence ADMAX, commonly known as ADX Florence, is an American federal prison in Fremont County near Florence, Colorado. It is operated by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, a division of the United States Department of Justice. ADX Florence, which opened in 1994, is classed as a supermax or control unit prison, thus providing a higher, more controlled level of custody than a maximum security prison. ADX Florence forms part of the Federal Correctional Complex Florence, FCC Florence, which is situated on 49 acres or 20 hectares of land and houses different facilities with varying degrees of security, including the United States Penitentiary Florence High. ADX Florence was commissioned when the Federal Bureau of Prisons needed a unit designed specifically for the secure housing of those prisoners most capable of extreme violence towards staff or other inmates. As of January 2023, there are a total of 322 inmates housed. They are confined 23 hours per day in single cells with facilities made of poured reinforced concrete to deter self-harm, and are under 24-hour supervision carried out intensively with high staff-inmate ratios. Number 9, Pelican Bay State Prison, California. This maximum security prison is known for its extreme isolation and high-tech security measures, including remote-controlled cell doors and limited inmate interaction. The prison is located in a detached section of Crescent City, several miles north of the main urban area and just south of the Oregon border. Pelican Bay State Prison opened in 1989. It covers 275 acres or 111 hectares, and grounds and operations are physically divided. An X-shaped cluster of buildings comprise a quarter of the prison's facilities and are known as the Security Housing Unit, or SHU. This facility contains 1,056 solitary confinement cells organized into 132 8-cell pods. Each cell is 8 feet by 10 feet, 2.4 meters by 3.0 meters, and contains a concrete ledge with a foam pad to be used as a bed, a steel combination sink and toilet, and 2 concrete cubes that serve as a desk and chair. Armed guards monitor 6 pods of 48 cells at once from central control booths, through perforated steel doors that make it easy for guards to see in but difficult for prisoners to see out. Cell doors are controlled remotely, and prisoners can be allowed out to shower or to exercise in each 8 feet by 20 feet pod solitary exercise yard. Half of the prison holds level 4 or maximum security inmates in a general population environment with 2 main cells. The remaining prison houses level 2 inmates in an open cell dormitory style facility for 500 individuals, and level 1 minimum security prisoners in a facility for 400 individuals located outside of the main perimeter of the prison. As of March 2022, 1,852 people were incarcerated at Pelican Bay State Prison. 1,112 or 60% of those inmates were level 4 or maximum security prisoners, and 290 of whom were located in the Security Housing Unit. Number 8, Rikers Island, New York. Despite being located just a few miles from Manhattan, Rikers Island is one of the largest and most notorious jail complexes in the country, with a history of violence, corruption, and neglect. Rikers Island is a 413-acre or 167.14 hectare island in the East River in the Bronx that contains New York City's largest jail, named after Abraham Lincoln, who took possession of the island in 1664. The island was originally under 100 acres or 40 hectares in size, but has since grown to more than 400 acres or 160 hectares. The first stages of expansion were accomplished largely by convict labor, hauling in ashes for landfill. The island is politically part of the Bronx, although bridge access is from Queens. It is part of Queens Community Board 1 and uses an East Elmhurst, Queens zip code of 11370 for mail. The island is the site of one of the world's largest correctional institutions and mental institutions, and has been described as New York's best-known jail. The complex, operated by the New York City Department of Correction, has a budget of $860 million a year, a staff of 9,000 officers, and 1,500 civilians managing 100,000 admissions admissions per year and an average daily population of 10,000 inmates. The majority, or 85%, of detainees are pre-trial defendants, either held on bail or remanded in custody. The rest of the population have been convicted and are serving short sentences. According to a 2021 analysis by New York City Comptroller, it costs the city approximately $556,539 to detain one person for 1 year at Rikers Island. Number 7. San Quentin State Prison, California. San Quentin is the oldest prison in California and one of the largest in the country, with a history of violence, including frequent riots and escapes. San Quentin State Prison is a California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation state prison for men, located north of San Francisco in the unincorporated area of San Quentin in Marion County. Opened in July 1852, San Quentin is the oldest prison in California. The state's only demised row for male inmates, the largest prison in the United States is located at the prison. It has a gas chamber, but since 1996, executions at the prison have been carried out by lethal injection, though the prison has not performed an execution since 2006. The prison has been featured on film, radio drama, video, podcast, and television, is the subject of many books, has hosted concerts, and has housed many notorious inmates. The correctional complex sits on Point San Quentin, which consists of 432 acres on the north side of San Francisco Bay. As of July 31st, 2022, San Quentin was incarcerating people at 105% of its design capacity, with 3,239 occupants. Number 6. Attica Correctional Facility, New York. Attica is another maximum security prison in New York with a history of violence and unrest, including the 1971 Attica prison riots, one of the most famous prison uprisings in US history. Attica Correctional Facility is a maximum security campus New York State prison in the town of Attica, New York, operated by the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision. It was constructed in the 1930s in response to earlier riots within the New York State prisons. A CS gas system installed in the mess hall and industry areas has been used to quell conflict in these areas. The prison now holds numerous inmates who are serving various types of sentences, short-term to life. They're often sent to this facility because of disciplinary problems in other facilities. The prison is a maximum security facility. In 1984, immediately adjacent to the Attica prison, the construction of the Wyoming Correctional Facility was completed. Number 5. Folsom State Prison, California. Folsom is one of the oldest prisons in California and is known for its brutal and inhumane conditions, including frequent use of solitary confinement. Folsom State Prison is a California state prison in Folsom, California, US, approximately 20 miles or 30 kilometers northeast of the state capital of Sacramento. It is one of 34 adult institutions operated by the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Opened in 1880, Folsom is the state's second oldest prison, after San Quentin, and the first in the United States to have electricity. Folsom was also one of the first maximum security prisons. It has been the execution site of 93 condemned prisoners. Musician Johnny Cash put on 2 live performances at the prison on January 13th, 1968. These were recorded and released as a live album titled Folsom Prison. He had written and recorded the song Folsom Prison Blues more than a decade earlier. The facility includes 5 housing units within the secure perimeter, including the original 2-tiered structure. Unit 1 is the most populous cell block in the United States, with a capacity of nearly 1,200 inmates on 4 5-tier sections. All cells include a toilet, sink, bunks, and storage space for inmate possessions. Prison facilities also include 2 dining halls, a large central prison yard, and 2 smaller exercise yards. The visiting room includes an attached patio as well as space for non-contact visits. Number 4. Angola State Penitentiary, Louisiana. Angola is the largest maximum security prison in the country, with a history of violence, racial tension, and harsh conditions. The Louisiana State Penitentiary, known as Angola and nicknamed the Alcatraz of the South, the Angola Plantation, and the Farm, is a maximum security prison farm in Louisiana, operated by the Louisiana Department of Public Safety and Corrections. It is named Angola after the former slave plantation that occupied this territory. The plantation was named after the country of Angola, from which many slaves originated before arriving in Louisiana. Angola is the largest maximum security prison in the United States, with 6,300 prisoners and 1,800 staff, including corrections officers, janitors, maintenance, and wardens. Due to these large numbers, it has been given the nickname a gated community. Located in West Feliciana Parish, the prison is set between Oxbow Lakes and the east side of the bend of the Mississippi River, thus flanked on 3 sides by water. It lies less than 2 miles or 3 kilometers south of Louisiana's straight east-west border with Mississippi. The 28 square miles or 18,000 acres of land the prison sits on was known before the American Civil War as the Angola Plantations and was owned by Isaac Franklin. The prison is located at the end of Louisiana Highway 66, around 22 miles or 35 kilometers northwest of St. Francisville. Demise Row for men and the State Execution Chamber for women and men are located at the Angola facility. Number 3. Greenhaven Correctional Facility, New York. Greenhaven is a maximum security prison in New York with a history of violence and poor conditions, including frequent use of solitary confinement. The prison is located in the town of Beekman in Dutchess County. The New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision lists the address as Route 216, Stormville, New York, 12582. This prison housed New York's execution chamber during the time the state briefly had the demise penalty, but never used it, in the post-Furman era. It was originally a federal prison and now houses maximum security inmates. Greenhaven Correctional Facility also operated a hot kosher foods program, but no longer does as of 2020. However, because of this, the prison had a large Jewish population. Yale Law School operates the Greenhaven Prison Project, a series of seminars among Yale law students and Greenhaven inmates on law and policy issues concerning prisons and criminal law. Number 2. USP Marion, Illinois. USP Marion is a high-security federal prison that was built in the response to the 1971 Attica prison riots. It was originally designed as a control unit, where prisoners were kept in isolation for 23 hours a day, but has since been modified to be a more traditional maximum security prison. Despite these changes, USP Marion continues to have a reputation for being one of the harshest prison facilities in the country, with strict security measures and limited privileges for prisoners. The United States Penitentiary Marion, or USP Marion, is a large medium security United States federal prison for male and female inmates in Southern Precinct, unincorporated Williamson County, Illinois. It is operated by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, a division of the United States Department of Justice. The facility also has an adjacent satellite prison camp that houses minimum security male offenders. USP Marion in Southern Illinois is approximately 9 miles or 14 kilometers south of the city of Marion, Illinois, 300 miles or 480 kilometers south of Chicago, and 120 miles or 190 kilometers southeast of St. Louis, Missouri. Finally, at number 1, Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary, Kansas. Leavenworth was one of the largest federal prisons in the country, housing many high-profile criminals including notorious gangsters and spies. It was also known for its strict and harsh conditions, including frequent use of solitary confinement. USP Leavenworth, a civilian facility, is the oldest of 3 major prisons built on federal land in Leavenworth County, Kansas. It is separate from, but often confused with, the United States Disciplinary Barracks, or USDB, a military facility located on the adjacent Fort Leavenworth Army Post. Located 4 miles 6.4 kilometers north of the USP, the USDB is the sole maximum security penal facility for the entire United States military. Prisoners from the original USDB were used to build the civilian penitentiary. In addition, the military's Medium Security Midwest Joint Regional Correctional Facility, or JRCF, located southwest of the new USDB, opened in 2010. The USDB and JRCF operated independently from USP Leavenworth. The prison was described by Pete Early, the only writer at that time who had ever been granted unlimited access to the prison, in his book The Hot House. The prison's history has also been covered in a pictorial history titled U.S. Penitentiary Leavenworth by Kenneth M. Lemaster, the retired institution historian. USP Leavenworth was the largest maximum security prison in the United States from 1903 until 2005, when it was downgraded to a medium security facility. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and comment if you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time on Crime Time.